is Shoshie. I am going to be streaming today, and I'm going to be building a model that's called Grandma Malka from Wicked Foundation Games, and I will show you here some of the things that you'll be needing. This is the sprue that comes with the model, and as you can see, sometimes pieces will break off before you get a chance to build this model, and I've actually used some blue stick tack to put these back because this is a very complex model, and I want to make sure that I'm putting it together in the order that the directions tell me to, so that way I don't lose pieces and I put it together just right. Like I said, it's very complex. So first of all, you're going to need 3 pages of your directions. This is an actual diagram with all of your part numbers and the sprue. And you can see it matches up exactly with the sprue. And this is the assembly directions. And it talks about once you build those pieces together. This is the sub-assembly. So this is very complex. So you're going to build each part with its smaller parts. And then you're going to use this page to show when to use those sub-assemblies. So you're going to need all 3 pages. And thankfully this one is color-coded, so it really helps. I'm going to show you what the finished model looks like, because I think if I would have had one of those, it would have super helped. So here she is. She's not very big. Oops, I don't have it. There we go. Now it's in focus. She's got all these guys all around her. A little treasure chest down here. So that is our Grandma Malka. We can use that as a model to check when we're doing. So here's a list of things you're going to need before you even start. You're going to need an X-Acto blade of some kind. And I like the number 7 because I feel like it's easier for me to use. You want a new blade. You're going to need some kind of small files. These are diamond files. Or you can also, this is called a flexi file. I love this file. And that's very handy. I don't even know if I'm going to use that yet. And then this is a slightly bigger file. But the diamond files are really nice because there are so many small pieces. This is a pair of tweezers, and it does have a sharp point, not the blunt kind. You're going to need a good pair of clippers. These are Citadel clippers. They're like the Cadillac of clippers, but any clippers will do. And this is a scraper, which I don't know if I'm going to need yet or not, but this is for scraping mold lines once you cut something off of the model. Then I'm also going to be using liquid cement. This is by Model Master for plastic models. And I also have some super glue because you might need that as well. I've got a few of these little condiment cups, and anytime you get some takeout, you can go ahead and save these. They are great for like putting washes in, paint. We're going to actually be using them to hold our sub-assemblies. And then I've got some double-sided tape just in case I need to stick something so that I don't, because like I said, these parts are small. I don't want to lose anything. And then the last thing I'm going to use, because I am a complete klutz, is some kind of tray. And you can see it's just got a little lip on it. And I can put this on my mat and build over it so that I'm catching any parts that might fall down, because I will lose them in my rug. What I recommend is that you watch this whole thing and then put it together. I know a lot of people won't do that, but I think you'll save yourself some frustration if you do. All right, so there's 9 pieces with the black box outline on the second page, which needs to be assembled. Then we'll be assembling part B first and then gluing that to part A. So part B is this little treasure chest, and then A is the base. So let's start with that. We're going to get out all of the pieces that have part B. because obviously the base is just the base. So let's clip off the base first. And then we're going to clip off all the pieces of part B. So I like to cross these off as I go. B42, B53, B60, 61, 62, 63, and 80. So let's get these pieces first. B42, actually we can do this in any order. So here's B60 because I already had that on the sprue. So I can take that sticky tack off right away. Then B80 and B63. So I'm going to cross these off as I'm putting them in my tray. So we've got B80 and B63, and then we just now got B60. See how I'm crossing those off? And then we need B42. Oh, there's B80. I forgot to take that one off. B62, 61, and 53 are over here. There's 53, 62, and 61. And then all we need, you can just bend these off if it's not too hard for you. Oh, and there's B42 is right over here on this part. So that is all of B. I'm going to set my sprue over here because I don't want anything to, and I'm going to be cleaning off all of the little, now there is little, it's not, this is not a sprue scar. I call them scars. I'm just going to barely, because there's a little rectangle. You want to leave that on because that's actually what glues to these little parts here. But this is a sprue scar, so you want to cut that off. All of the little sprue scars we're going to cut off, trim. Like a good pair of nippers, you might not even need to do all this little work. And also, I have a lot of hand control. Hopefully I will not cut myself during this. I will probably glue myself to something, but hopefully I won't cut myself. But you should always cut away from yourself. Don't do what I do. Do as I say. Do as I do, not as I do as I say, not as I do. All right, I've got everything. So there's no order. We're just going to start fitting these together. Looks like these two go together. These are the sides. I'm always going to dry fit everything first. Yep, that goes there. So then I'm going to take some of my model glue and we're going to use the ... not a lot rhyme that I teach my school kids whenever I substitute teach. And you're just going to do small amounts of glue. And then fit that together. Give that a little squeeze. Then we need to put on, does this go on first? No. This goes on. So then we're going to put these smaller sides on, and you can see they have the little rectangles. And if you look on the side here, there's another little rectangle as well. So those are going to go. Make sure that you're making a little indentation on that. Like I said before, you're going to dry fit everything. Make sure it fits first. Just going to put a little dot on each of those rectangles and a little bit in the middle. There we go. Give that a little squeeze. Okay, so that part is completely built now. This is the lid of the box, and we put these little half circles on that. One on each side. Whoa! See, this is why it's so good to have a tray. When you drop something, you catch it and you can find it right away. Good, good. All right, same on this side. And just give that a little squeeze as well. You can see where the hinges are on this side, and it should match up with the two hinges on this side. And they actually fit in there, and it should be like partially open. This is going to be tricky. Oop, that's a little bit too much. There we go. You might need to sit and hold it for a minute. There we go. after a few minutes. And you can see there's a perfect indentation on the base here. Does it say? I'm going to wait and see if it says, yep, assemble part B first and then glue part B, which this is part B, to part A. That's what the directions say. I'm going to be crossing off every direction as we go. And then turning that around, those little indentations fit perfectly in there, just like so. All right, I'm going to set that down in my tray. I'm going to cross off A and B on my chart. And then I'm also going to come over here and I'm going to cross off the parts that I used on my diagram here as well, because the more you cross off, the easier this gets as you build. This one is over here. I think I got everything. I guess I could also make an X through the part as well, just to make sure. There was one more. Nope, that's it. And then we're going to come over here. We're going to cross off those two and these as well. I just do this. This is how I do it to be thorough. It really helps me keep track of what I'm doing. I just happen to have ADHD, so this helps me remember what step on if I step away or if I drop something, anything like that. All right, step 3 here. It says assemble part I, which is right here. It's this piece right here. It's a small I. Assemble part I. Other parts need to be tested on part I before gluing. So that's really important that they put that in there. So now we're going to look for the I pieces. It looks like it's this one and this one. Is there any others? Yes. Okay, so I is the entire thing over here. I'm going to go ahead and just lightly circle the I pieces. Those two, so this one and this one. And then these two as well. This piece and this piece as well. So I6, I5. Let's look at our diagram over here. There's sub-assembly piece just to make sure. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, I got all 6. So now we're going to clip those off our sprue. Now that I know that where they are, that's much easier for me to clip. So there's 1, 2. Remember, there's 6. And these 2, 3, 4. And then 5 and 6. Remember, we got to fit all these together before we glue anything. We can set that sprue aside. And while I'm at it, I'm going to cross off 1, 2. So much easier to do as you go. 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, let's take a look at our pieces. So we've got a top and a bottom, a front and a back, and then I think these are like the rails. So first we're going to trim off any excess. It's trim and file, depending on, sometimes filing is quicker and less dangerous. Oh, see, that one has a little scar, so we're going to need to trim that off with our X-Acto. Good. I'm just going to set each piece down back in my tray. And you can clean off your scars on each of those pieces. There's a little hand right here that's going to come into play later with one of the other model pieces. See, there's a nice big scar. All right, so these are the first two pieces. We're going to fit those together first. Aha. See, and it only fits one way. So if you don't glue it on the correct way, let me make sure that's right. Yeah, it doesn't really quite go together that way, but it does go together this way. And then these pieces, let's make sure we got our front and our back. So this is the front. It's got more little folds on the And this is where the head is, so that is also the front. And you can see how there's a little dip and it perfectly matches up. So that's going to go there. And then the back one goes back here. And then these are obviously right and left. So now that we've got that oriented, we can start gluing. Just a little bead of glue on the inside edge should be good enough. This one is the front, so this we're going to put glue in here and just under the head. There we go. The way this some liquid cement glue works is that it actually breaks down the plastic and creates a bond by kind of melting the plastic together. It just dissolves the plastic just enough that you're able to do that. All right. And you can compare with the model picture. You know what? I think I have them opposite. Let's just check. Yep. Okay. So don't make my mistake. Yeah, you'll be able to fit it together by that little dip right there. So that is eye. Eye is completely built. So now we can cross off all of these parts here and eye. Cross it off here and on here. All right, step 4 says assemble part S. So here's S, and that's our Grandma Malka. Glue these together first, S89, S8, S4, S25, and S20. And I'm going to circle the parts that it's saying to get out first. So there's S89, S8 is over here, S4 right here, S25, and S20 over here. So those are the first parts of Malka that we're going to build. So now we need to look on this sheet to find those parts. And one by one, we're going to take them off. I'm going to go in order. We're going to go with S4 first. Here it is, S4, right there. So we're going to cross that off. And then we're going to take that off the sprue. Here she is right there. And next is S8. S8 is on the other side over here. Take that one off the sprue. There she is right there. See right there? Actually, I'm going to put a little cup here. There we go. We're going to put them in the cup so that way, even if they're in the tray, we know where they are. All right, S25 is right over here. This one is very tricky. I remember when I built this, so there's S25. S20 is right across from it, just down here. I'm going to cross these off on this one as I go so I don't forget. And then S25, there we go. And then all we need is one S89. It's up here at the top. You see? I've got all my little parts in here. I've got them all crossed off on this sheet. Let's go back to our direction sheet. So we're going to glue those together first. Okay, so there's not any directions per se on gluing these together. So let's do this first. We've got the face, and then there's this piece. Now, as you can see, there's a little dent right there, and in the inside of her, there's a little outie piece, like a little outie rectangle. Let's put the glue on the outside part. There we go. And we're going to press that in, and it should look like this when we get done. These pieces each have, let's see, little teeth on the side. And I cannot really tell from my diagram, so I'm going to look on the built model. It's like on the sides there. It's like the sides of the legs. Yeah. Okay, so those are going to go up. So I'm just going to put that one on this side. See how that fits up, and the other one goes on the other side. And those end up being the tops of the thighs for Grandma. This goes behind the crown. But I dry fit it first. Always dry fit. Try to get it so that it's sticking up. All right, that is part I, and I'm going to put that back in her little cup. I'm going to cross off that first few parts that we just glued together. Oh, sorry, this is part S, not part I. Sorry, S, Grandma Malka. All right, then glue S23, S24 onto the model. Okay, so we're going to get S23 and 24. Those are these two, looks like the two legs. And they are here and here on the sprue. And what I find is always keep your sprue oriented so that you can read it. And then you'll always be able to find the parts real quickly. You can see, remember how we've got those skirts? There's a little rectangle right here. And I'm not sure if this fits into anything, but we're going to go ahead and put that. Yep. Oh, you also want to put a little glue on this side here so that the throne fits on there. We're going to dry fit this one. Yep, looks good. Okay, now we can put glue all the way around. I'm avoiding that little opening because I feel like that's going to have something going into it. And I don't want to clog it up with glue just yet. All right, and I'm just going to put a little bit on this edge here. So I avoided that little opening right there because I think that's where she's going to be fitted onto the base. Yeah, see what, there's a little opening. You don't want glue in that just now. Now we're going to glue S9 and S15 together at the same time. So we're going to look at those two pieces. There's S9 and S15 right there. It's basically the hair of Grandma Malka. And you can see they're on the sprue right here and here. So we're going to clip those two off. Now, careful because there's a little piece that sticks out, and if you can see this, part of this is actually part of the model. So don't cut that piece off. Just cut right in the middle where this little gate. You can even kind of twist it off if it's easier. That way you're not taking that piece off. And it doesn't look like it has anything like that here. Now note that there's little pieces of plastic. Can you see that little tiny piece? Don't cut that off. That's part of the model. So it says to glue these together at the same time. Let's dry fit it first. Yep, this is the hair. So we're going to see how that dry fits onto the model. Yep, see how it fits. And you're going to see exactly where to put the glue on that side. Yep. Okay, so let's take that off. We're going to put glue all the way around here, top of that. And then we need to put these two together. Ooh, see this tray? It's already paying off. Put those two together gently. And then put that on here. And give it a little squeeze so that all those little gaps are tight. Assemble part C, D, E, F, G. Okay. So let's do C is first. It's this guy, and each of these pieces has their own pieces. This is where these little cups are going to come in handy. And we're going to start building C, 28, 29, and 30. Oh, we forgot to cross off Malka as well. I'm going to go ahead and do that. All the S's that we just did. And I know it seems like it's a lot of extra little work, but trust me, as we start, oops, no, not that one. As we start narrowing these down, it gets so much easier to see. So now we're looking for C. So we just scan down here to see if we can find C30 is this guy right here. And be careful where you're cutting because he does have a little wrist there. I'm going to put that in a cup. It's already easier for me to see. Here's C29. He's right here. One more C28. See, they're all in different places on the spruce. Oh, let's stick that back on there. Which is why it's so important that I have things tacked back on so that I don't forget where they came from. I don't have a lot of working memories with things like that because of the ADHD. So this is going to be a very ADHD friendly tutorial for any of our neurodivergent friends. Looking at C, we're going to build C together. You can see how he looks like when he's all put together. So we're going to take the head piece and the torso body piece. I'm going to dry fit it first. I always get ahead of myself. Make sure it fits. Good. And then we're going to put on the glue. It's better to have a little bit less glue than too much because, like I said, it will glob all over the model and it will also disintegrate the model too. All right, and then he's got another arm part right here. Just a dot. Dot, dot, dot. Not a lot. And you can see how that goes right on there. You might actually want to super glue that if you haven't already. That's how it looks. All right, next one is D, and he just has two pieces, D31 and D32. There's 32 right here. Just going to twist him because there's a little bit of a piece that's on his neck, and you want to keep that piece on there. And then he's probably on this side. There it is, D31. On the opposite side is this little arm right in this corner. Cross that out. There it is right there. All right, and he just has this little bit of glue right here under this arm piece. Just like that. Now, because we can, I'm going to mark the bodies as well with a Sharpie. I should have mentioned that you should probably get a Sharpie. We're going to put C on the back of it, and this one is D. You'll be able to paint right over this when you prime it. So, and it will be a huge help when you're building it. Also, if you have to stop in the middle, you've got these and they're not mixed up. And then there's E, which has three pieces again. Looks like two arms and a torso. All of the E pieces are over here. Here's E66 right here. And then we've got E67, which is right here. So both the arm pieces are not too far away from each other. There we go. And the last one is going to be E68, which is going to be this guy right here. This one right there. And again, he's got a thing coming off his neck. I'm just going to clip it right there. And then his feet. Don't clip his toes. Let's do the bigger one first. Let's dry fit it. Oh yeah, that's awesome. So that fits right there. Nice. Excess glue in this piece. I'm just going to look real quick at the model just to see. Okay, he's kind of there. It'll fit just like that. It's going out at that angle. And I'm going to mark him with an E because this is E. See? Now F. So we're going to get all the way through to So F8, FGH, skipping I, because we already built I. J, I'm skipping K. K's in step 8. And then LM, N, and we're skipping O, and then going P, Q, R. F is F40, F41, and F43. Let's see. See, now that we have less and less on the sprue, things get a little bit easier to find. There's F40. There's F41. It's just like half a person here. And F43. Oop. Oh, and he jumped right in the cup. All right, let's go ahead and look. Cross that off. F43. See how there's a little thing coming off this guy's neck as well? This fits into the base, so we don't want to cut that off. But we do want to just smooth out some of the other pieces. A little bit of glue on the top and on the ledge there. Again, excess glue. Try to smush it a little bit so that it doesn't feel like there's a big gap there. This arm, he only has one arm. It's just kind of going across his face like that. He does show there is another arm maybe. Interesting. Oh wait, no, that's 34. 33. We missed 33. There it is, G33. This is why you want to check. You want to double check your pieces, because if the diagram shows that it looks like he's got two arms, then that way you don't miss anything. Let's just leave him in the cup because he's a quandary. I'm not really sure if that piece actually goes to him. So let's build H, because I feel like there's a couple pieces messed up on the sprue. And we'll figure it out. That's why this is so important here. Let's mark him with H, with G, just because we know he's G at least. And we'll just keep him in that cup separate. All right, let's pull H 36, 37, 38, and 39. Okay, here's H 36. Here, we've got another little cup. Oh, you know what I just found? I think I just accidentally built H. What's H? Because this body says G. Let me look at my diagram. I think I did it. I think I built H, which is why I was confused. Yep, this is G35. This is, okay, I figured it out. Might have to rewind a little bit. This is actually F, right? C, D, E, F. So this guy is not. And you can just take a little alcohol and a little swab if you need to erase anything. I'll wipe off that permanent marker. All right, so this is actually F. I apologize to anybody if I messed you up. F only has two parts. Let's just make sure that's correct. No, he had three. Sorry, F had, yeah. So we built F and then I crossed him off too early. G is the next guy, which we're pulling off the parts for G next. G33, G34, and G35. So we've got 33 and 35 in there. And now we need G34. Here it is. G34. Ah, I didn't pull it off the sprue yet, though. I crossed it off, but I didn't pull it off the sprue. Now, if you've never built a complex model before, you will understand now how frustrating and crazy it can get. Yeah, this is G. The other one was F. That's why I got confused. Because that arm, he's finished, actually, so we can put him in the other cup. And then this arm, actually, no wonder. So I kept trying to put a right arm, or a left arm, sorry, on the wrong side. Oops. And that goes across. So we're going to write G on the back of this one. Oh, this was an H, right? Yeah. There's H37. We'll pick that. Wait, it's this one. H39. It's these legs. There's H38. This is it right here. And H36, which we already got. Oh no, this doesn't work. I pulled the wrong torso off. All right, we're going to switch. I did. I pulled off the O, so we're going to put that one back on with this sticky tack. See, this is why the sticky tack is going to come in handy in case we take the wrong one off. I'm just going to stick that back on there and then take this one off, the one next to it. So I told the people at Wicked Foundations Games that I make mistakes, but hopefully you learn from my mistakes. There we go, and we can stick that right together. All right, I have the arm here. Let's go ahead and dry fit that real quick. Yep, crosses kind of just under his chin. There we go. Those sprue scars do mostly need to be removed to really have good fit. The mold lines are not going to matter nearly as much. I'd worry more about a gap than I would a mold line. All right, we're going to go to J. There's 3 pieces, 57, 58, 59. There it is at the top. There's J59. It's right here. It's getting much easier to find things now that there's J58 right here. Now that we're crossing things off as we go. One more J. There it is on the bottom. Right here, this little leggy. And again, cut all the little scars off so that things will be fit well. It's got 2 legs, so there's this one, kind of just 2 flat areas that glue together. Oops. That right against there. I'm just going to need to hold that one for a little bit. See? Make sure the 2 spots right here are flat. This should be flat right here. Yeah, it's a good thing we dry fit because he's got a hand in the middle of his leg there, and the shoulder fits to that hand. This is tricky. I feel like you should feel like there's another piece, but it doesn't. Okay, see how the pectoral muscle attaches right to the front here. Put a little glue right there, a little one on that, little drop on that hand, and it kind of put the pectoral muscle on there, and then attach the hand, and then it'll fit. It'll sit real nice that way. There we go. And that one we're going to mark J. Next one is L. L is that guy over here. It's another sitter. These are all sitting ones. It looks like we skipped to L. So L is L2, L17, 18, and L74. Do not ask me what the thinking was on those numbers. It doesn't make sense to me. Okay, L2. I'm going to look at our diagram again. Remember, it's getting easier. Here's L17, this little leg. L74 is this little arm right here. L18 right over here. Let's see, it's this piece right there. Last piece is L2 right here. Cut off all little sprue scars. If you want to be super exact, this is the kind of thing that you would use your little file set on. I'm not using the file set right now, but it's mostly to save time on the video because you don't need to see me filing every little piece. But you can do it if you want. It's very meditative. Let's take that upper torso. Let's do the legs actually first because they fit together. See how they fit together in innie and an outie. Let's put the glue on the innie. Just a little bit, dot, 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 not a lot. Fit that together. Give it a squeeze. And then we can put glue on the top. And put the torso on. See how he's bent over? And then lastly, this arm. Let's dry fit it first. It kind of goes a little bit back. See how they fit together like this? That little cup, it almost gets glued to the side of his body. Well, it does get glued to the side of the body, but it almost disappears because of that. See how it disappears back there? And you can't see it as well in the diagram. This is L. Remember, we skipped K. And so we're going to look for M on this sheet. And there's 4 parts: torso, legs, and 2 arms. So we're going to find M13, M14, M72, and 73. M13 is right here. There's the ends. There's M14 right here. So there's the legs. M72 is down here. And let's see. And we just need M73 is the last one we need. Here it is, right up on top. So follow that over, and it's right there, 3rd one over. There it is. Cutting off our little scars. See, there's another one right here. I'm just going to scrape that one instead of cutting. That one I will cut because that is going to fit onto the other part. Remember, try to cut away from yourself if you can. I control it just a little bit better when I'm cutting toward. Now we're going to get our model cement. And I'm just going to put a little bit of cement right here. And fit the legs on. Oh, I just noticed there's a scar there that I need to cut off. Oh. Okay, this is tricky because you need that to be completely flat. So you're going to want to smooth out that a little bit. And the arms, they just kind of, this one gets glued to the side of his arm, side of his body. Oh, I still have another scar to cut off on that. I thought I got it. When it's on the end of a limb, go ahead and scrape it off because it's not going to fit. Sometimes if you just set it down and then cut it, then you're not cutting toward yourself. That if you have a self-healing mat underneath you. Okay, just need to check on my picture to see if that's where his hand goes. Nope, it actually goes kind of crosses over his knee. There we go. And you can kind of tell it fits better that way too. All right, and then I'm going to mark this one M on his back. Make sure it looks like an M because we've got an N as well. All right, and that goes in the pile of bodies. All right, now we're on N as in Nancy. So we've got again 5 parts on this one. We've got 2 legs, 2 arms, and a torso. And if you look close, one of the arms is crossing over onto the other knee. So he's another sitting figure. So we're going to go over here to our sprue guide. That's what we're going to call this from now on, our sprue guide. We're going to pick out N44, which is this second one right here. N46, another arm. N47 and N81 are right here. So this leg and this leg. And I just noticed that the torso, oh wait, here's the N. The torso is right above it. Okay, leg. Ooh, see, aren't we glad we have this tray? So far, so good. I'm counting the time that we've saved from having to search the carpet as a win. Notice that there is a little rectangular notch there that's probably going to go into, it's going to go into this notch right here on that leg. So we'll make sure that that fits into there when we glue it. We'll put a little glue on that spot. So I'm going to start with the torso piece. Where's my glue? Here it is. I think I'll put the legs on first. And then we're gonna, don't forget to put just a dot on that inner piece right there. So that way when we fit, so that has a hole it goes into, good. Ah, being uncooperative. And I guess, let me look at his legs again on this picture. Oh, weird. Wait, this is in. So, yeah, I'm going to move this one a little bit. It doesn't actually cross. I made a mistake, but that's okay, because it doesn't change anything. We're just going to push that on there, let that cure a little bit. This is going to be tricky. This is the one, again, where he's got a hand on his knee. So I'm just going to put a little glue right there. Whoa, this is where we might need a little tweezer action. Yeah, I'm going to get the tweezers out. Perfect. I'm going to put a little glue on his knee just so that hand will stay. Okay. And then we're just going to adjust with the tweezers. So that's good. Okay, awesome. This one's tricky. I probably got it. I had it upside down for a second. All right. All right, I put glue here. Don't put glue there. It actually just goes right there with the arm sitting back. And let's get this moved over again. Tricky. This is probably one of the more difficult pieces. So take your time and use your tweezers. Maybe let things cure. You don't have to put every piece on exactly at the same time as I am. You can just do a leg, let it cure, work on another piece. Might want to mark this body as a N, as in Nancy. I'm going to put it on his chest because there is a big opening on his back and I don't have any room to write it on him. So we're going to write N. There we go. All right, we're going to go straight to P. We're skipping O. So skip O, go to P. It looks like he's got an extra leg over here. He's got somebody else's leg attached to a hand. Okay, so we have to take, so whenever it shows these pieces here, you have to put those together first. So we're going to do P49. Let me grab that off the sprue. There it is right here on the side, P49. Yep, it is already together, so you don't need to do anything with that. And then we've got P52, P54, and P55. P52 is right here. There he is. Here. P55 is right here. P54, it's right up here. Ah, that's why I didn't see it, because it was at the top of the other side. I see a mole line. I'm going to just give it a quick little scrape. All right, so we're going to grab the piece that has the arm and the extra leg. I'm going to check the diagram. It looks like they go up next to each other pretty well. For now, I'm just going to glue the arm, not going to glue the leg to the other leg, just in case. Make sure this is, again, flush, because that is supposed to be flat right there. That looks good. Okay, now last, the arm. And again, there's space. So that is how that piece looks like. And that is P. Did we skip? Yeah, we skipped O, remember? P. We have Q and R, and then the last part we're going to do is we're going to glue S56 onto J. So let's finish up Q and R. Q has a little lantern. So you're going to need the 4 pieces, a leg and arm. It looks like torso, like head and shoulder with an arm, and then a leg with part of the torso, and that's then this little lantern. I think he might be, He's not the only one with a lantern because R also has a lantern. So just make sure you get the right lantern for the right model. There's Q22. Okay, there's Q19. That's the Q lantern. Q75 and Q77. So this one and 77 is this leg right here. Q76, it's this little arm right over there. Just be real careful when you're cleaning up on things that are very delicate, like this little lantern. If you cut that too deeply, it will need a repair. Let's do the bigger pieces together, the torso and the head here. There we go. Check to see if all the lines look good. Now we're going to put this leg on. There's an outie. It's making it easy for me. Okay. Oh. Make sure it lines up. It kind of kicks out a little bit, so be careful with that part. All right, now this arm is going to go onto, see he's got a hand here? So you're going to put a little glue on that leg right there and a little glue on the shoulder. I'm like the Julia Child of building minis, like, whoo. All right, there we go. Awesome. Just make sure that sets just like that. See? And then lastly, we're going to put on this lantern. He's already got a hand on here. If you didn't cut off, hold on, I see a little piece. I got to take glasses off for this. Don't cut this little, there's like a little tiny ledge here. This is probably one of those that you want to glue and then let cure and then glue and then let cure. Okay, so there. It's tricky. Let me make sure that looks right on the diagram. Nope, he is holding the lantern just a little bit level like that. There we go. And then R is R12, R16, R69, R70, and 71. And he is also holding a lantern. So we need 5 pieces off of that. So there's R70 here, R12 up top, R70, there's R7, 71 is the lantern. Here's R16, KS, here R69, it's right here. Make sure you take a lot of care cutting the scar off of that hand because you don't want to cut, there is a little ledge there that you don't want to remove. Woo! Oh, I had my first piece jump off my desk. All right, we're back, and this will happen to you. I did find the piece. Fun fact, I found several other little pieces that have jumped off my desk at different times. So I'm going to give you some quick tips on how to find stuff if you do lose things. So everybody has a phone on their camera, right? And you have your little, there's my husband, you have your little flashlight. You're going to turn on your flashlight and get down on all fours, and you're going to look. And hopefully you're not like me where you wear bifocals and finding that mid-range vision is really tricky. You might need to take your glasses off to find them. And so, yeah, but we've got all the pieces now in our little cup, and I'm going to glue these all together. I've already got them all cleaned up and ready to go. So everybody is going to have the risk with this piece of stuff jumping off your desk, jumping out of your tray, no matter how well you prep, could happen. So, you know, we minimize it and we work around it as best we can, and we try to find the pieces. Is that an arm? Is that a, okay, there we go. That arm goes kind of straight out. There we go. Perfect. Little strings of resin. Oh yeah, that's right, because he's holding the lantern. Let's put this leg on. Oop. Just make sure that's a good tight fit. And when we're ready, we can go ahead. Actually, the lantern goes on this side. So put a little dab of glue on that wrist. Maybe not too much glue. And again, that lantern should kind of go up and down like that. And this one is R. All right, if you need to take breaks during this, please do not forget to drink water. Stand up and stretch a little bit. Take a little stretch break if you need to. And now we're going to glue S56 onto part J. So we got to look over here. What is part J? It's this dude over here. So we're going to look. Remember, we labeled everything. We're going to go through and find our J. Ooh, this guy got cured together a little bit. Oh my goodness. That happens to be J. How funny. Make sure none of your other pieces are glued together. All right, so there we've got our J. I'm going to put that in the cup, and I'm going to find S56 on our sprue guide. There it is right there, and it's this little piece. All right, let's glue this on here. He's going to be sort of the headrest or hand rest of Mama. Now, this is the tricky part where you got to pay attention. Glue part C, D, E, F, G, H, J, K27, P, O, 48, N, M, L onto part I. Well, let's do that in order. This is I. So we're going to grab C first. We can put these in order even if it helps. So let's start with C and our little platform. And we're going to be looking at this, and we're going to see, where's C? He's right here. He's this kind of dark yellow. And look for hands. He's got a hand right here. He's going to fit up there. Oh, this is the one that had a piece of model that was broken off. Hold on. This right here. My sprue. Okay, calm down. My sprue had a broken arm. That makes so much sense now. All right, so we're going to take this and glue that back on. So you probably won't have the same problem as me. But this is good to have in the video in case something like this happens. Grab your glue and just put that on. Because of this, I'm going to let this cure for a little bit, and then we'll come back to putting C on. I'm nervous about putting him on now. Let's see if that fits on so much better. So his arm goes in that little widge, little pocket right there. Ah, yes. All right, I'm going to glue it. I'm going to go ahead and take a risk and glue it. I'm going to put glue here. I'm going to put glue here and a little bit on that hand. So hopefully everything will fit together. Like I said, like a puzzle. Yes. I'm going to let that cure. Let's go ahead and move on to D, which D is right here. What you might want to do is, as you're building this, go ahead and recross these off. We'll cross them off with a different pen so that we can keep track. Now we're on D. So this is D. He's the dark yellow. Or sorry, this is dark yellow. This is more of a golden yellow. And he goes right behind the first guy. And again has a little glue spot right here by this hand. And then a bunch of glue right here. Fit that in. And remember, you can remove the markings that we have already put on with the little alcohol if you don't want those on there. That you can prime right over them though. All right, E goes right behind the next guy. There's going to be a guy right up above him that is going to have his arm. Put in glue here. And make sure that the base
he's touching his hand on the base. There we go. And kind of keep an eye that make sure those feet are relatively level. Might even want, do we want to glue the base on yet? Does A comes into place last. So we don't need to worry about A until very last. And now it's time for F, G, and H, and they are on the other side. So flip your base around the other side, and F is in front. A little bit there, a little bit there. Okay. His hand. Perfect. Now we're going to do G right behind him. Going to dry fit. Okay, so there's a little spot here and here. Right there, there, and then all of this over here. Just make sure that he's attached. There we go. Good. Now last guy is H. See, he's got a thing on the side of his head that fits right in there. See if we can get it in. It might need the glue. Sometimes the glue actually helps. There we go. We got to dry fit it first. Thankfully, the base is pretty neutral, so even if you don't quite get it perfect, it'll be okay. There's no slots or anything in the base, at least. There we go. See if that can stand up. J is next. Let's go ahead and cross these off. Give that a little bit more time to cure. F, G. J is over here. He's sitting on top. He's the first piece that gets attached to this hand. So J was in here, but we moved it over here. There he is. See, he's got that hand on top of his head. Okay, so yeah, dry fit him. His knee goes behind this dude's head. And hopefully that's been curing. So that is already, yep, there we go. So we're going to put glue on that guy's head and on this part right here. Make sure it is flat. There we go. Ooh. Watch this gap over here. Make sure, because it shouldn't be. There we go. K27. That we're going to end up cutting off the sprue. It's right up on top. There it is right here. It's this piece right there. I'm scared to put him on because it doesn't quite fit. There are a couple mistakes in this, so I'm going to leave K27 for a second. Let's do P. P is up on the other side. So he's at the front. And his leg goes back behind the second guy. Yep. There. So he's got one foot on the back of number one, and he's got one leg going off to the side of number two. So we're going to put a lot of glue here, a little bit on the back, and a little bit down this leggy here. That fits pretty good. Good. And then he brings the leg in for this next one. Good. Now we're going to do O48. This is another one. We haven't clipped off the sprue yet. Maybe that was, yep, that was the one that I grabbed last time. That O goes right next to this one. So now we have a space right here. We're going to stick O. Yeah, that fits nice. Let's go back to L because I missed him. So he's got one foot on this guy's back and one foot on that bar. We have glue on this bar and we have glue on the back. And then we're going to put glue underneath him so that he's sitting. We're going to put glue on his feet too. I'm going to hold him because my leg is not quite attached where I want it to, and so I'm holding it to just make sure those two connections set right. Let's go ahead and do M and L. We didn't skip L, they moved it over here onto part I. All right, so that's done. Let's do this first. N, we didn't get in. He's sort of hugging this one. This is very tricky. I'm going to take this guy off. We're going to put N on here. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to put a little bit of glue on the shoulder and a little bit of glue on here. And then we're going to sit him. Actually, this leg goes in between. There we go. So much better. That is very tricky. Kind of losing that arm. I'm going to give it a little bit of glue back here just so that stays. Now we can get this guy back on here because he's kind of leaning up against that one. L goes on the end. There we go. And then this one is M. M goes on the back. I see now. Okay, that is why we're having trouble. Put M on, and then we can have some support. There we go. M's on the back, and then L's next to him. Much, much easier, but we need to get that stuck. Oh, and there's a little hand right here too. Put a little glue there. Make sure that kind of connects. Glue here, glue here, glue here. All right, I'm going to hold that. Now this S piece. This is the tricky one. Or sorry, this isn't S. This is the O piece that we cut off. I just found another piece that needs to be glued. This guy has kind of he's leaning a shoulder into this. That piece really needs some glue right here. There. Support. So I do think that there is sort of an order to these. Yeah, I'm just going to fit that one in. We'll put glue underneath the arm and down here. And we're going to make it so that that torso needs to go back a little bit so that arm, see how that fits? Just like that. There's going to be an arm that kind of loops in between. Hopefully that will work. We'll make it work. Phew, that's crazy. Okay. If you got that far, you get a prize, because I get a prize, because that's crazy. All right. We got those. We got K27 on. Everything is good. Now, glue SRQ onto part I. Remember, we've got our S gal. She's right here. There's a little thing that fits on. This is where hopefully you use model cement and not super glue, because you're going to need that loose glue. Hopefully you didn't let things cure. Just maybe don't let things cure completely and just glue it. Just go for it and wiggle that in. I'm going to put glue here and here. Yeah, because everything is loose. That fits pretty good. Now we need R. There's R. R goes on the back, right? They're kind of sitting up on, there's two little things here. This one and this one. Those are the pieces that fit onto the backs. And they, yeah. So first get the glue on this guy as well. Good. That looks good. Okay. I'm going to put glue right there on this guy's head as well. And we're going to get Q. And I'm going to put a little glue on this shoulder as well. Just a little bit. And yeah, that's going to be fine. And so that part is 7 is part done. Now, glue K21. This is the tricky part where we've got that one model over here that has missing pieces. He's got sprue pieces over here. Here's K21. And this is a leg, so this will be not too bad here. Just, that leg goes right here. We're going to put glue down in that hole. A little bit right there. Also, there's an arm right here, so we're going to put a little glue on the end of that arm because it connects to this leg. Perfect. Oops. Might need tweezers for this. Let me grab my tweezers. Get the leg in the socket first, and then we can move, maybe. There. Come on, get in the socket. There we go. All right, we did it. Now we're going to do K64. There it is. K64 is over here. This leg right here. And K65 is this arm right here. And this attaches to his other spot. And I'm guessing this foot is probably going to go on this dude's head. Nope, it just crosses right in front. Okay, so that's good. Fit that in. That is going to need tweezers for sure. And just hold it. Yeah, just hold it on. There we go. And the arm. And remember, that arm's supposed to loop underneath. I don't know if I can get it to do that or not. We'll see. Actually, yes, it does. Aha, look at that. It loops through that way. Wow. So you do need to do it in this order. All right, the directions now go to... So we just put those on. Put on P49, P52. Yeah, we already got P. So P is already on. We put him on in the back right there. That's this guy right here isn't. We had to put him on to stabilize some of the other pieces. That's good. Glue O50 and 51 onto 48. So let's find the O's. Here's O51, O50. All right, this looks like it's a foot and a hand. So that goes over here. Yep. All right. Put glue right here, and we're going to put hand and foot right there. It just kind of fits in very nicely. And then this arm is the same as that last arm, where it kind of slides in and goes down underneath. There, just like that. Good. Okay, now the only thing left is the two S's that I left on the sprue of the hands of Grandma Malka. I'm going to put those in the cup and this one. And then we're done with this sprue. Amazingly. So these go. I'm just checking to see. Okay, so yeah, this is the right arm, and there's a hand here. And then we're going to put that shoulder. Tricky, tricky. Ooh. There we go. I'm going to put a little bit more glue just to kind of bridge the gap. There's a tiny bit of a gap there. There we go. And the last piece is this claw that goes on top of the head. Put glue up in there and then a little bit on the head. It's going to take a teeny bit of finagling to get it in there. It is, I think this is one of the pieces that I should have glued on way before. Yeah, for sure. If you've already got S on, then you are not having to deal with this step. There, come on. All right, I'm just gonna squeeze some glue in there to soften things up. And now we're done, and now we have to glue onto the base. Remember, the treasure chest is on the left side. And you're going to look on here on the base. You can kind of see these little footprints. Just start putting glue down in the footprints that you can find. And nobody's going to know if you didn't get it in every footprint. It's going to be okay. But if you did manage to get it in every piece, then that's awesome. Okay, some of the legs don't. Yeah, I'm going to know. You can move things around a little bit while it's still. There we go. Perfect. Put a little glue down if you need to smooth things. There we go. All right, that is Grandma Malka. And if you got this done, then everybody give yourself a pat on the shoulder, because that was awesome. And now we have 2 Grandma Malkas. Crazy model. So there we go. If you have any questions, the best person to reach out to would be Wicked Foundation Games. You did it, and that's awesome. It was a very tricky model. Lots of directions to follow, but if you take it slow and do them in order, because that's very important, then you'll have the model all ready to go. So there she is. Thanks. Bye.